welcome to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us today. Returning, Kevin Gallagher.
I'm back.
Glad to have you back. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, considering that, what's it been coming up on just 2 weeks? It's 2 weeks.
Not even 2 weeks.
But had surgery on my neck. You want to see my scar? You want to zoom in?
You know, I used to ask girls if they want to see my circumcision scar, and it didn't work too well. But yeah, they opened you up like a Pez dispenser.
We made reference on the show in weeks leading up that I had this large lump in my neck, and finally we got the lump out, and it proved to have some cancer cells on it, and they also found some cancer cells on my tongue. So, and they thought that one of my tonsils, 61 years old, still have my tonsils. What's up with that?
I still have mine.
But my right tonsil, they said, oh, that thing looks kind of funky too. Let's get it out of there. It's like, well, why didn't you take both of them? But I'm thankful for the use of the right side of my mouth for those days after surgery. Anyway, they're pretty sure they got all the cancer cells related to the actual mass in the neck. The tonsil tested negative, no cancer cells, but the little bump that they took off the back of my tongue tested positive. So we're going into here after a couple of weeks of preliminary stuff. We're going to go into 6.5 weeks of radiation and chemotherapy, just burn the rest of those little boogers right out of there and
get them out of your life.
Just get them out of there. The doctor, my surgeon, by the way, Dr. Sweeney, Larissa Sweeney with Mary Bird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake, she did a wonderful job. She gives me a big thumbs up for recovery prognosis. And I just met my oncologist last week, Dr. Wong, and she says this is not a major case. This is not a major cancer case. This is very much a curable cancer. So I'm going to place myself in their hands and do everything they tell me to do. And I have no doubt, they've told me straight up. They said you're going to get sicker from the treatment than you were from the disease, but on the backside of it, you'll feel better. And they said, by Labor Day, I could be feeling like nothing ever happened. So it's all good.
Well, that is good news.
Thank you, God.
You had a lot of folks that were concerned about you, concerned about your health.
Thank you, and I appreciate all the thoughts and the prayers. And this is going to sound weird, Bill, but I could feel them. Does that sound odd? I could feel that good energy coming my way.
Well, that's great.
I could tell.
And you know what? I understand that because I experienced that a few years ago when I had that heart attack.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were really worried about you when you had your heart attack. We were worried we were going to lose Bill.
I appreciate that.
And you're back with a vengeance, my friend.
But just like you, I had an extremely good surgeon that turned me into a modern-day Lazarus. So I'm grateful as well.
Can I do one more thing?
Certainly.
If you have to go to the hospital now we have incredible hospitals here in Baton Rouge. We have Oxnard, we have Baton Rouge General. But I got to tell you, my personal recommendation is if you want your hospital experience to be as close to being in a hotel with people waiting on you hand and foot, Our Lady of the Lake is just incredible. That place is incredible. And the hospital experience itself, which for me was only 36 hours, but still, it was the best 36 hours I've spent in a hospital in my life.
They have a mantra that they use, and they actually give awards to their employees for living up to this, called the Spirit of Healing.
The Spirit of Healing.
And you really do get that spirit at Our Lady of the Lake.
Mm-hmm. They were wonderful. Every person I encountered at Our Lady was absolutely wonderful.
Now, where did they have you after the surgery? A regular room or a surgical intensive care unit for recovery? Where'd they have you?
No, I think the room I don't know. It's because I don't know what the standard is these days. The room I was in had a monitoring station. And computer, and I had a blood pressure cuff that was on me the whole time, and that would automatically take my BP like every few hours. And people were coming in, and I didn't get a good night's sleep because Amy was a wonderful nurse, and we had some great conversations, but she kept coming in, and I'm that light a sleeper. If someone walks in the room, I'm going to wake up. But I don't think it was an intensive care unit. I think it was just a private room.
See, they're all private now. But I I'm guessing you were in SICU, the Surgical Intensive Care Unit, because they basically cut on your head.
Maybe so.
And that's why Amy, the nurse, was coming in. Believe me,
Yeah,
I know you.
dead?
It wasn't your beautiful flowing hair that was bringing her in every hour.
It was neither beautiful nor flowing at that time.
She was there to make sure that you were okay. Yeah.
But I'm going to say one more thing before we go to break about Our Lady of the Lake. You know how people bitch and whine about hotel or hospital food?
Yeah.
The food at Our Lady of the Lake is great. I mean, I looked forward to my next meal. It was great. So all in all, it was a really good experience.
Well,
if you got to go get cut, you might as well get cut at Our Lady of the Lake.
Yeah. We'll see if they want to put that in their next commercial. But our experience is a good one because you are back. We had a lot of people who were very worried about you, and we're glad that you are now on the road to recovery.
Well, thank you all very, very much. I appreciate it.
A brief break, and we'll be back. We're going to talk about fucking Alexander. He's in the soup, and that wonderfully moosed hairstyle is not going to save him this time.
Someone's been naughty.
Someone's been looking the other way. Exiles.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
We're back. Bill Profita, Kevin Gallagher.
Hello, hello, hello. So, I've been a little out of touch with things, but the Title IX story at LSU, the slap and tickle, the butt grab,
I only want blondes with big athletic, that.
athletically built blondes. I think that the shock is, I think a lot of people thought that Les Miles was a classier guy than that. Because he came across as a classy guy.
Well, I think a lot of people thought that F. King Alexander, at that particular point, the president of LSU, was a classier guy than that. Mm-hmm.
But now it's almost like we're having a Watergate at LSU. It's like, what did the president of the university know, and when did he know it?
Well, and you know what? I think we know a lot of that as well. Of course, Kansas suspended Les and then fired him.
Yep.
He is now, F. King is...
He's on probation at Oregon State,
Yeah,
right?
He's the president of the Oregon State University. And they had said, their board of trustees said that they were looking into the Hutch Blackwell report.
Yep.
and that they were going to examine it very, very carefully. And they were quite candid about saying there's a lot in this report that troubles us. And really, what troubles everybody is that King Alexander ignored Joe Oliva saying this guy is basically sexually harassing student workers. He is asking them to meet him after hours at his apartment. We have complaints. I told him to not be in contact with any student workers other than at the athletic department on official business. He has ignored me, and we are going to have a big liability down the road. You need to get rid of him now. And F. King Alexander was like, hey, he's winning.
He's winning.
That's basically what it came down to.
Charlie Sheen response.
And
Winning.
F. King did not even take this email from Oliva with the allegations back to the Title IX office to say, look into this again, back to the Board of Supervisors. So he talked to a couple members of the board. So what happened, he moves on to Oregon State University.
And I thought his exit was kind of speedy, though. Didn't you?
Well, he exited because he had an offer. That's how it is with chancellors and presidents. Or if you're going to get fired by the Board of Supervisors, which he
You
wasn't.
cultivate an offer.
Yeah.
You let people know you're available.
Hey, but
Get me out of here.
OSU suspended him. Here's the headline that goes with this. They announced on Saturday, which is rare, that their Board of Trustees makes an announcement on Saturday that they will meet from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. tomorrow in a public session to decide on what action to take regarding President F. King Alexander. Now, they're not saying whether or not action needs to be taken. They're saying what action. It is a very tersely worded statement. It's part of the agenda. The board may hold on executive session pursuant to ORS, whatever the statute is, to consider the dismissal or disciplining of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or an individual agent who does not request an open hearing. So in other words, F. King probably didn't want a hearing. So they're saying, we're going to force the issue. I am guessing that what is going to happen is they're going to say, bye-bye, so long, farewell. I never warmed up to the guy when he was here at LSU.
Well, you wouldn't be the only one, Bill. A lot of people never warmed up to the guy while he was here at LSU.
Yeah. But I did, as some of you did, I took the time to read that entire Hutch Blackwell report. And this guy made Pontius Pilate look like Chris Nakamoto. I mean, he washed his hands so many times and didn't want to know and didn't want to report that the skin probably came off.
There are other names at LSU that quite possibly are going to go down because of this. There are names in like the Athletic Foundation and stuff, and well-known people that apparently ran interference for Coach Miles, to help keep this thing on the down low.
Yeah.
But it's all very, very disappointing. But strangely enough, though, is it shocking? Does it surprise you?
Well,
it doesn't surprise me.
This guy always gave the impression of being such a stiff that I would have predicted if something came to his office like this, he would go full bore and take care of it immediately. Because
Alexander?
He seemed like a real stiff.
He seemed to me like a buck passer and a problem dodger.
Well, he did do that.
That honestly, that was the impression I got of him. He was the kind of guy that would rather dodge a problem than meet it head on. And that certainly was a problem, and it certainly appears like he did his best to dodge it.
Yeah.
Yipes. So we'll see how many. And Les is out. He's fired, right?
Oh yeah, Les is gone
Kansas.
from KU. They gave him $1.9 million to go away, so it wasn't terribly harsh.
Yeah, and let's make no mistake. Les is what, 68?
Yeah.
He could live the rest of his life on his millions from coaching football thus far.
Oh God, yes.
So.
Oh yeah.
Les Miles, you never know. He may be smiling about all this. Hey, so I grabbed some ass. What's the big deal?
That was the hardest thing to believe.
I'm sorry, that was too quickly worded a sentence. It's, so I grabbed some, some.
Well, here's the whole thing. He wanted a blonde, athletically built. He wanted all blonde, athletically built.
Well, it's nice to know he has a type.
Well, here's the thing. His wife at one time was blonde, and she was a scholarship athlete and a coach, but she looked like two BBs on a breadboard.
Yipes. I'm shocked to hear that this goes on a college campus. Shocked. But that's why we have laws that say sex between a member of the faculty or of the staff and a student is not good.
Well,
even if all the players are adults and over 21, we still have a state law that says that's not a good thing.
Well, there actually is no law at the college level. In the high school level, there is. But what we do have, we have federal jurisdiction as well as state jurisdiction that says you cannot continue to come on to somebody who rejects you or doesn't want your attention.
Yep.
Particularly if you are in a position of authority over them. Mm-hmm. All the boxes were kind of ticked here on Les.
Well, it's time to take another break, so let's take care of that. And we're going to talk about emergency medical services in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, Brad Harris with EMS is coming up in just a moment. Stick around.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
The selection is deep, and the time to get a used car is right now from the Team Automotive Group. Shop and save on over 125 certified vehicles and choose from more than 700 pre-owned vehicles at any of our team locations. Or log on anytime at teamautouse.com.
Back once again. It's Exiles TV. Yeah, I know I've been missing for a week or so, but glad to be back in the saddle here with Bill Profita.
And glad to have you back. Lieutenant Brad Harris, East Baton Rouge EMS, joining us. We normally talk to EMS about new techniques, new equipment, innovations, their accreditation, all the really good things. But today, EMS in Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge Parish, like a lot of emergency medical services throughout the country, are stepping up, and they're going to become vaccinators. And you told us during the break they want you all to do about 9,000 shots at the first round here.
Right, so the Council on Aging teamed up with the mayor's office, and then the mayor's office asked us to help deliver the vaccines to their Meals on Wheels recipients. So these are homebound patients that cannot get to a clinic to receive the shot. So they asked us to do it. It's roughly 4,500 people, and then if you have to do the second dose, so that comes out to 9,000 shots. This will be going on for several months. It all depends on what the supply looks like, how many, we can get out per week. Last week we did about 120 shots in 1 week, which sounds like a lot. However, when you're going from house to house versus if we'd had them in one location, we could have gave triple the amount.
Yeah.
So it's going to take some time. It's a process.
Now, are some of your men and women also volunteering at other locations during their off time to give injections?
Not that I know of. They might be doing that on their own time, but we're not doing that.
Yeah. So you're going to start with the homebound Council on Aging Meals on Wheels people.
That's through the Council on Aging. We're doing that program. We've also, at our headquarters, we have been administering the vaccine to other first line workers, police department, fire department, DPW, all city parish entities are getting the vaccine.
So I think this is a wonderful thing. I had actually thought a couple of times about what about the sick and what they call in church they refer to them as the shut-ins, the folks that never get out of the house, and how do we get that vaccine to them? So I think this is a brilliant use of your resources as long as they're not needed elsewhere.
Right.
Is that a concern for you all?
Not to us. We're not the one. EMS is not getting the shots or supplying the shots. This is coming from the Council on Aging's order and from LDH. So it's just kind of depend on when they can get their supply, and then we'll help them administer the vaccines. And then too, not just the patients themselves getting the shots in the house, it's also the caretakers, the people that live in the residence with them. It's important that they all get the shot as well so that they don't bring it to their homebound relative.
But I think what Kevin is saying, though, is this does not involve an on-duty ambulance crew that is responding to calls.
Exactly what I was going to drive at.
I missed that point. But yeah, you're right. It's not on-duty calls. It's not ambulances going to your house. These are employees that come on their off days to.
God bless them.
Yeah, and we schedule them so that we can have, if we know that we have 100 vaccines to give, then we'll schedule enough employees to give those vaccines.
And how many weeks do you expect this will take?
Months, probably.
Months.
I mean, yeah, it's, like I said, we did 100 last week, which sounds like a lot, but if you're looking at 4,500, it's going to take, several months.
Now, is there communication with the resident ahead of time saying, hey, we'd love to come and give you your COVID shot, may we come by, set up an appointment, that sort of thing?
I'm not exactly too aware on what the process is, but I do know that the ones that I went to, their residences, they were aware that we were coming. I think it's just the Meals on Wheels patients. So what they'll do is they'll call them up and they say, hey, we're going to pre-screen you, make sure that you're available for the shot and that you can get it. And then we schedule a day and a time to come administer.
Have you, to your knowledge, have you encountered any reluctance to take the COVID shot?
Yeah, we had a couple of them that I personally went on. We were going to give 2 doses, one to the patient and then one to the husband. The husband said he didn't want it, which is fine. I mean, you can't make anybody take it. But
right.
We try to explain to him, look, you're doing it for her. She's homebound. You're still going out getting groceries and whatnot, so you probably should get it too. And I can't remember the reason. He said he came up with some reason why he couldn't take it, but that's fine.
Okay.
We can't coerce them into taking it. So.
Well, I'm thinking that as folks being what they are, particularly around family members, I think as you get a little further into this, you're going to go, or your folks are going to go to a home where they think they're going to vaccinate 2 people, and you're going to find 10, because they called their cousins and their brothers-in-law, and they said, it's going to come to my house on Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
No, it doesn't work that way. We're only given a certain amount. So once you crack the vial open, you only have 6 hours to administer it. So 1 vial gets 10 doses. So they'll divvy them up. They'll say, you're going to these 2 houses, you're going to these 2 houses. I've only got 2 vaccinations. So if I do come into a situation where I have 8 people saying they want it, I can only give it to the 2 that are listed on my sheet.
Now, if you all, or Council on Aging, or whomever you're helping, could get the J&J vaccine, that would cut it in half because that's a one-shot deal.
That would be a one-shot deal. And I have had people ask me the question. They say, well, what am I about to get? And the last week we gave Moderna. We don't have the option of picking and choosing what we give. It's just what they give us to give. So if we were to get the Johnson & Johnson shot, that would cut our numbers down dramatically.
I'm curious because I really don't know anything about it. How big, I mean, as far as in cubic centimeters, milliliters, whatever, how much
Fluid?
How much fluid is injected?
Yeah, it's 0.5 of a mil, like a milliliter.
So it's teeny.
Same as a tetanus shot, basically.
So it's teeny.
Yeah.
Wow.
We use insulin syringes.
I'm wondering why people are being so nervous about this thing. It's like they think they're being injected with some kind of tracking device or something. And if I was reading a thing where a guy was talking about the metals that are in the vaccine reacting with 5K cellular signals. And it's like, wow, you're really stretching for that one.
Well,
man.
the thing is, for a lot of folks, it's become kind of a punchline. I saw a guest who will be with us on Wednesday, State Senator Franklin Foyle. And he and his family had just come back from getting vaccinated. And I told him that I had already had my second one. He said, oh, so you got your 2 tracking devices. I've got my 1 tracking device. And we were laughing over it, but he told me, and he didn't want to name them, but he told me that there are 5 members of the Senate who absolutely refuse to take the vaccine.
Really?
Yeah.
Will they get a flu shot?
I don't know. The thing is,
to me, that's what I'm looking at this. I look at this as just one more thing we're going to need to get once a year, like a flu shot.
But there are a lot of people who listen to people that don't have any specific knowledge who tell them that it's going to kill you because of your race, or they're going to track you, or they're really trying to give you COVID. And it's absurd. And the trouble is, as my grandpa used to say, you can't fix stupid. You really can't.
Well, what I know about the vaccines, and I'm not a doctor, but what I do know about it is, a virus has RNA and DNA, and they both need to work together to make a virus. So the Moderna shot in particular is an RNA vaccine. So basically it goes in and tells your body to make reproductions of these little protein spikes so that it can recognize that. So that if you are introduced with the COVID, it'll see the protein spikes and attack it.
Yeah.
So you're not actually getting COVID in your shot or anything like that. You're just getting the RNA messenger telling it to produce these.
Have you seen the little video animation of how it works yet? Well, I saw one last week for Pfizer. And Pfizer, again, it tells your RNA, which is basically the conductor of your symphony for all your genetics. The RNA is the conductor. It tells them to recognize the spikes, but then it also tells your cells, when you see these spikes, you secrete this chemical and the spikes can't attach. So it's even a little tiny different process, but it works the same way. So they're not actually giving you any type of COVID virus or any type of COVID virus clone. You get no virus when you get this shot.
I like to think of it like a computer and like a software and hardware. Your computer is the DNA, and then the RNA is the floppy disk, CD, whatever. And one cannot work without the other. However, when they're together, then it does a program, and you're programming it to do whatever you tell it to do.
How many COVID transports are you all doing these days, by the way? Since at the beginning of all this, you all had to have special units to go out and transport COVID. What are you seeing?
Personally, I don't think we've had an uptick or anything like that. A lot of people are getting their vaccines. We're not getting as many calls for COVID positive people, or you might get the signs and symptoms. I have a fever, I have a runny nose. I'm not sure if it's COVID, but I just need to get evaluated. So we have a lot of those calls still, but you don't know if it's just seasonal allergies or what it could be.
Well, I saw in the news this morning that statewide hospitalizations are down below 400 for the first time in forever.
Right.
So I think this is a real good indication that we may be coming down the back side of this thing.
Well, and with our live broadcast at 10 in the morning, we have a lot of these people that are probably going to be getting the shots that are watching at 10 a.m. A lot of folks don't watch us until 10 p.m. If they are scheduled to have an injection of whichever vaccine, the people from EMS that show up will be in uniform and have ID?
Yes, they'll look just like, I went last week just like this. So we'll be in one of our marked vehicles. They send a social worker from Council on Aging to also ask them questions. Once you give the shot, you have to wait 15 minutes just to make sure there's no reaction to it. So typically I give the injection, we wait 15 minutes, the social worker speaks to the patient, and then we go on to the next one.
So yeah,
What kind of a reaction would you be looking for?
You're
Just like
looking
inflammation at the injection site?
Yeah, you're looking for allergic reaction kind of stuff, hives, swelling, difficulty breathing, rashes, that sort of thing.
Is that turning up in some cases, or?
I can't say it hasn't turned up, but I haven't personally seen it. All the ones I gave last week were perfectly fine.
I haven't really heard or read anything in Louisiana about bad reactions.
There's a syndrome, and I've forgotten the name, but there are some folks that if you put an intramuscular needle into their body, the actual needle gives them a reaction. And I mean, they will faint. They will, some of them will have a little mini type of seizure, but it's not, it's, like 1/100% of the population. But they have a reaction to the actual needle. Doesn't matter what you got in the syringe, it's the needle.
Wow.
It's that placebo effect.
Yeah, something like that. We're going to continue in just a moment with Lieutenant Brad Harris from East Baton Rouge EMS. I'm going to switch topics a little bit and talk about the kind of things you're rolling on now, and are we getting to the point with gunfire coming from cars and moving vehicles and all that, where we're going to have to start outfitting all of your folks in some protective gear? Just a little thoughts about what you're handling and where it's going when Exiles TV continues in just a moment.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
The first big sale of the year is here. The Dream Garage Spring Event is underway at Team Honda. For the first time ever, get $12.50 customer cash on every new 21 Passport, or get 0% for 60 months on every new 21 Pilot at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Bill Profita. I'm Kevin Gallagher, and in the center seat is Lieutenant Brad Harris. He is with East Baton Rouge Parish Emergency Medical Services, EMS. Always good to see you, Brad.
It is, and glad to have you standing by in case, he's old now and he's infirm, in case he keels over,
Just push me out of the chair, and
God forbid. but got a
And
lot
then
of
with you with your heart problems.
yeah, we could both go down at any minute.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not the one that had to get paddled.
Yeah.
Glad I have beer outside.
Yeah.
Ride the lightning, Bill.
Does anybody else beside me smell toast? But things to cover with you about EMS. We are getting an awful lot of moving gunfire in this city. And more hits than misses, unfortunately. A lot of injuries, and it just shows how many guns are on the street. I know you have to respond to all those calls when you're called,
right.
Whether somebody is seriously injured or just minorly injured. Are we at the point now we're going to have to start having ambulances in certain areas where they're wearing Kevlar?
There was talk around, 2016 with the police shootings. There was some talk about outfitting us with ballistic vests. That talk kind of died down over time. I think we kind of get complacent, There has not been any talk recently about doing that. We do have an SRT team, that's our special response team, that they do have that kind of gear in case they're needed. But it's not every medic, it's just strictly those medics on that team, and if they respond to a standby hostage situation, that kind of thing, they'll put their vests on. There's nothing that says that someone can't go out and buy their own vest. If an employee feels like they want one, they can go get one. But right now the department's not talking about supplying those.
I remember an incident that happened some years ago, but there was a young man involved who was a trainee, and a fella had shot the woman and thrown her out of the vehicle, and they had stopped and they were rendering aid, and the incident wasn't over yet. The guy came back and started firing again, and I thought, is this what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to armor up our EMTs? That doesn't happen often, does it?
That's the only time that's happened. Knock on some wood here, but that's the only time that's happened here in Baton Rouge. So, I do know that guy, and he's doing well now. He's in the military and all that kind of stuff. He was one of our explorers, which is the trained, high school kids that can go ride on the ambulances.
Yeah, the last time you were with us, you talked about
in
this.
fact, I did want to talk about that. What's going on with the Explorer Post?
The Explorers, I think it was January 14th was their first nighter. They've gone through 8 weeks of training, and I think we have 23 new ones that just passed all of their skills. So now they're EMR certified, CPR certified. They're going to have to go through an orientation process to ride on our ambulances, and then you'll start seeing them riding with us. So you might see it's a high school age, some of them are 18, so you might have some that are out of school, but they're wearing a gray shirt. It looks similar to this, but it's gray. And
my nephew is one of them, by the way.
Okay.
We're all very proud of him.
Yeah, that's great. That's how I started off in this. I started in high school, just riding on the units, working LSU football games, and at the time it was just interesting to me and something I wanted to do, and got me involved in this career. Now here I am. So a lot of these kids hopefully will eventually go on and get more schooling and get their EMT, get their paramedic, and potentially come work for us. We kind of use it as a recruiting tool and an educational resource.
Now, if someone is emergency medical responder certified, what can they do under your supervision at a scene?
So they could do things like bandaging, splinting. They can take vital signs, just kind of help us, moving patients, putting them on the stretcher, putting them on a spine board, extricating people from vehicles. They're just an extra set of hands for us. And then the whole time that they are doing those skills, they're also, still absorbing everything else that they cannot do, but they can still see it and they can kind of be familiar with it.
But they're also freeing up time for the EMT to take care of more diagnostic measures.
Exactly. So they're doing things like taking a blood pressure while I might be starting an IV. Or, if it's a broken leg, they can be splinting it while I'm pulling up some pain medicine. So it is just an extra set of hands. They are helping us.
Now, once they get to the age of 18 or beyond, and if they have done well here, then I would imagine they are free to enroll in EMT training.
Yes, you can be 18 years old and get your EMT license. So a lot of them do that. We have a lot of employees that were explorers before they got their EMT, myself included. I got my EMT out of high school when I was 18, started working in the 911 center, dispatching calls, went back to school, got my paramedic, came to the street. So that's an avenue they could take. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Someone might think this is the path they want to take, and then once they ride a few times, they say this isn't for me, and that's great. That's kind of part of it, is you don't want to get fully invested in going to school, making or spending money for this job that you ultimately don't want.
For parents and grandparents that may want to help a youngster that has gotten interested, when is the next opening in your Explorer Post? When will you have openings for more young people to come in?
Currently, we only enroll once a year in January. So you'll see probably November, December, you'll start hearing about it on the news that it's upcoming. I'll put it on our Facebook page, our social media platforms, or on our website, just kind of announcing that it's coming up. And despite all the PR that I did for it this year, we were getting calls way after the fact. Oh, I just heard about it. Is it too late to enroll? I say, yeah, unfortunately it is. I think we had like 30 some odd people that had initially applied, and out of the 30 some odd, we ended up at 23.
Now, I'm going to be crass. What's start and pay for an EMT?
EMTs start off at $16 an hour.
Not bad.
It's not terrible, not terrible. And then obviously,
especially if you're 18, that's damn good money for being for 18.
More than I made at 18.
Yeah, yeah. I think I started at like $3.
Yeah, I was about 5 something. Yeah.
But you talk about well after the enrollment date, you're still getting calls. We call that the halo effect.
Yeah.
And you can feel kind of good about that because that means people really responded to your message. It lasted.
Yes.
You're wearing a little halo on this one.
It's very, very positive. It's nothing but positivity can come from this program. If they're helping us, we're helping them. It's great.
Let's talk about...
one more thing. When enrollment comes around again, let's make sure that you're with us again to talk about it so we can get that back to the front of people's minds if they want to enroll.
Yeah. It'll probably be the second week of January, so we'll shoot for the first week or into December for that.
Or talk around the holidays and stuff. Get ready.
Yeah. Now, your medical director, who is a physician,
Dr. Dan Godby.
Dr. Dan Godby, he's talking about helping LSU at their request. They want to put some sort of an emergency first response team for medical emergencies on the LSU campus.
Yes. So this is kind of a long story, but I'll make it brief. Basically, there was a cardiac arrest at one of the facilities on LSU's campus. And some students actually that knew CPR were able to do CPR on that patient until we arrived, transported them, and the patient ended up surviving. And due to that, those students said, you know what, we really need to make some more awareness about CPR training and just medical skills in general. So these guys got together, they formed a group, they contacted us, and they said, we really kind of want to start like not really an EMS system, but just a group of people that can respond to calls on campus. What can we do? How do we get started? So our medical director is helping them do that. And we've had some talks with them recently about it. I'm not quite sure how far along they are. I think they're looking for some funding. But these kids would basically just be volunteers. They could respond to calls on campus, maybe bring someone to the infirmary. I don't think they'll be able to transport to a hospital, but they could at least be first responders. They can get there before us and begin treatment.
Have we even gotten to the point at LSU, and I hope the answer is yes, where they've got all the large buildings that have at least one AED installed?
I hope so. I don't personally know that answer, but I would hope that they do. And this will just be another resource. That anybody that can get CPR training, anybody could be a lifesaver. And it's just, I kind of think they're just trying to get the awareness out there.
Well, it used to be, when I was at LSU, she is retired, but there was a wonderful assistant professor in the kinesiology department named Kathy Hill. And she taught first aid and advanced first aid. And basically, pretty much everybody took her course, and you became CPR certified at the very least. I don't know if they still have that, but I think it's a great idea. They can do it with minimal equipment.
It is a good idea. And LSU has a program called FETI. It's the Fire Emergency Training Institute. And I think that these guys are going to be the ones that actually train these EMR or EMT level students.
Well, that's another thing you're going to have to keep us posted on.
I will.
We have a great deal of affinity for LSU, and we like to hear about things going on there. But if you're a medical director who came on with us when we did a broadcast from your headquarters.
That's right.
If he thinks it's a good idea, I trust his judgment.
Yeah, it can't be bad. You can always have more hands, more people that can do things.
What's interesting is LSU is one of the few state universities of its size in the country that does not have any medical education at its main campus. The nursing school isn't here.
Right.
The medical school isn't here. The dental school isn't here. Normally, if you're walking around, Illinois State University, and you clutch your chest, You got a nursing school. You got
Yeah.
in the mix.
surrounded
In
by-
screaming distance of the medical school.
Exactly.
You know, and in New Orleans, they actually have some campuses that have their own ambulance services.
Sure.
You know, so might evolve to that at some point. I'm not sure. We'll definitely come back to this.
Well, Lieutenant Brad Harris, East Baton Rouge Parish EMS, we appreciate all that you and the folks at EMS do, and I think it's great that you all are out giving COVID-19 immunizations to the shut-ins from the Council on Aging, and I bet you they're going to find a way to expand your role in this before it's all over.
Oh, I'd imagine.
But as always, we appreciate your being with us, and we're going to look forward to the next time we get together with you.
See y'all next time.
A brief break. We'll be back to wrap it up on Exiles TV. Stick around.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hey,
back. How are you?
I'm good. Did you get your latest round of stimuli?
Not yet.
Not yet?
I am as yet unstimulated.
I went the other day to check the bank account just because I monitor every other day or so. Just want to make sure that there aren't any overdrafts or anything like that. And boom, there it was. So round 3. Thank you, Mr. Biden, and thank you, Congress. I don't know. My mom and I were talking about it yesterday, and it certainly has been helpful for me in our situation.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem right that they're just giving this money to everybody, Bill, because not everybody has been adversely affected by the COVID crisis.
Well, there are some income constraints based on your tax filings. Before Karen lost her job to COVID, Karen was making a very, very good living, And so we did not get the same amount of money everybody else did. We got about 50%. And we were glad to get it, don't get me wrong. The problem that you've got, if you sit there and say, well, this guy has not been affected, he and his wife both have their jobs, they haven't missed a paycheck, they shouldn't get a check, theoretically you're right. But how do you check through a nation of 300 million people
exactly
and find out who is in that situation? Particularly, these all come out when you're in tax filing season, not everybody has filed yet. We still wouldn't have gotten the first stimulus check if that were the problem.
That's like a labor of Hercules trying to do that.
And and people throw those, for political reasons, they throw those kind of pros and con arguments, and it's just not physically possible when you're trying to get some help to people who desperately need it. You're also getting help to people who don't need it.
There is this: if you got stimulus and you don't need it, you can give it back.
Oh yeah.
You could contact the Treasury Department and say, I'd like to give you this $1,400 back. I don't need it. That's not my case. I would say thank you very much.
Yeah.
But there's all sorts of things. I noticed that WAFB's got a very useful article. If you're expecting your check, you haven't received your check, do you know what your tax liability is on your check? Which, as I understand it, you have no tax liability on those stimulus checks.
The state attaches some tax liability.
Oh, great.
All the states do.
Oh, great.
But there's no federal tax liability. But again, you get television reporters going, "Oh, you're getting this check, but it could alter your tax status." In most places, it's going to be like $12. But they make a big headline on us. And if you were at the highest income tax bracket and there were federal taxes, it would only be about $420. Obviously, there's not a lot of news surrounding this, so a lot of television and newspapers try to make a story where there really isn't one.
I've noticed that the stories tend to be a bit sensational, but the article on WAFB's website today helps answer some frequently asked questions that people may have about this third round of stimulus. I didn't think we'd go 3 rounds. I was surprised we went to the second one. But then again, I was one of the people that when we first did the COVID lockdowns a year ago, I thought this will be 90 to 120 days.
Well, but you've also got...
and then it'll be all over with.
You've also got some states that are extremely miserly with their unemployment compensation. In Louisiana, you only go 26 weeks.
And it's the maximum weekly amount is a pittance.
$227.
Yeah, it's a pittance.
And it is the second lowest in the nation in terms of, so I can see where in a lot of places that second and third stimulus is needed, because if your business closed, if the business you work for closed because of COVID, it's not going to reopen 10 weeks later, 26 weeks later, and you really can't go out and look for jobs effectively. So there's a lot that goes into this.
Speaking of COVID, we mourned some of the businesses lost. Over the weekend, I saw that it's been in Baton Rouge forever, for over 60 years, the Circle Bowl. Now, if you're not a bowler, you probably think, so what? But that leaves us with only one. Is the Metro Bowl still open?
No, that's been
so I think
years.
That only leaves us with what used to be Don Carter Lanes over on Airline Highway. That's one bowling alley for this entire city of over 400,000 people.
Well, I mean, I wonder if bowling is on the decline a little bit. No, wait a minute. You've got the new. You've got 2 of those new bowling alley and arcade combinations, like Rock and Bowl over at Mall, Louisiana.
Yeah, but it's a small number of lanes.
30.
It's a very small number of lanes. Whereas a bowling alley, you go in there like they'd be like 40 lanes. And on a Saturday night, you could put 1,000 people in that place.
Your Yankee is showing.
I used to do league bowling when I was in school. I used to be pretty damn good at it. Clarence Buggs is a bowler, but it makes me sad. That's one less place people can enjoy bowling, which is a good, wholesome family entertainment, something the entire family can do together.
Yeah, but sooner or later you're going to cancel because you're putting your fingers in those holes.
Yeah,
people are not going to like that.
Yep. We'll call that the Les Miles.
Clarence got that one. Real quick. This is just a tragic story. 50-year-old Jesse Hui, H-U-Y, maybe he says Huey, has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of armed criminal action, being held without bond in Stratford, Missouri. Why am I telling you this? Because he shot his wife, Tanya, and her 2 parents, Ronald and Linda
Kohler.
They are of Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yep.
They had gone up there to have a visit with their daughter. He shot all 3 of them and then called police and said, "Yep, I did it. Come get me."
Wow.
And again, one of these wild-eyed willies.
Yeah, his mugshot looks like, just about what you'd expect. He looks like the kind of guy that worries about the 5K, medal in your vaccine. The government's always listening.
And his fat back was cold, and he yelled at his wife, and her dad said, "Hey, don't talk to her like that." And
Purdue to get me a beer.
And he pulled out his gun and capped all 3 of them just because.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But it's sad. But there's an elderly couple in their 70s from here in Baton Rouge dead just for going to visit a relative.
Yeah, and their daughter dead. So,
by the way, just one more time, this was Ronald and Linda Kohler of Baton Rouge. Ronald 71, Mrs. Kohler was 78 years old.
So what a shame. What a shame. And again, more and more people that just cannot control themselves, and there's often deadly consequences. Hey, we thank you so much for being with us on Exiles TV. Glad to have Kevin back.
Glad to be.
We will see you next time. In the meantime, they are opening up all kinds of avenues to get your COVID vaccine. You ought to be able to make an appointment online very, very easily. Please do so that you can stay healthy and keep those around you healthy as well. Until we meet again, stay well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.